You knew I'd bring it back one day. I had to. So, this morning we got strawberry banana, a little bit of honey, a little bit of vanilla, yogurt, milk, the whole shebang, and it's delicious. Amazing. Anyway, welcome to the channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, my name is McKenna. I run a digital media company called Studio SB Creatives, and today we're going to be talking about the different types of content that businesses can create and the categories they fall into and how what content they make will help kind of grow their business. So let's just get right into it. So when it comes to creating content, there's going to be three main categories that content is going to fall under. The first being informative, the second being entertainment, and the third being promotional/advertising. So we're going to kind of get into all of those and what kind of content might appear in each category. So starting with informative is going to be anything that teaches your audience about something. The type of content that you'll see in informative content is how-to guides, tutorials, Q&As, problem solving, things like that. It's really going to be teaching people, and that can be teaching people about your business. It can be teaching people about something about your business. It can be teaching people about a product. It can be a whole slew of different things. It really just kind of comes down to what it is that you're teaching, if you have something to teach. So keep that in mind if your company or the kind of content that you create has something to do with that. That might be the direction that you want to lean into. Second is entertainment. And this is the type of content where things kind of get fun because it opens up a wide range of different content types that businesses or individuals can create. A prime example of this is Red Bull. So if we look at Red Bull's pages, most of their content has nothing to do with their energy drink or, their new flavors or whatever it is that they're doing. Like, their content primarily focuses on people doing crazy things. Jumping out of hot air balloons, skiing down hills, going down some crazy bike tracks through a city. Those are just a couple that I can think of off the top of my head, but it engages the audience and it keeps their attention really, really well, but it doesn't necessarily directly advertise whatever their product or service is. The entertainment content has a lot of different things that you can do. It can be funny, it can be exciting, it can be anything. If we look at, of all companies, I think it's Nutter Butter, like the cookies on TikTok. Nobody knows what is going on with their page, but it's interesting to watch. It's almost like horrorcore style, like glitchy. I wouldn't even begin to know what to call it. But entertainment style content engages the viewers in a different way. It can be a little bit less serious. Like, you'll never see a company like Rolex or any luxury brands creating entertainment style content in the same way that like a Dave & Buster's type company would make. Like their content would be fun and exciting, whereas if you look at more luxury brands, it'll give you more of the feeling that purchasing or using a luxury good or service would bring to you. And then lastly, that third content type, being promotional or advertising, is exactly what it sounds like. It's selling something to either a business or a customer. So it's all about reaching the right audience when you see something like that. And all of these types of content are obviously going to be selling you something 99% of the time. It's just that there's different ways to do it. So when it comes to promotions or advertising, these might be creating content that's mixed with those others two that help sell that product or service, or it might just be simply running an ad campaign that is giving the consumer of that good or service a deal in a way. Like, you see a lot of deals around like the holidays. They'll be like 50% off or 25% off or this or that or whatever. That's a lot of what you'll see in the promotional and advertising type of content creation. That can be fine. Usually, that type of content works better for companies that have a larger budget and can afford to put more effort behind those kind of campaigns. But they can still work for smaller businesses if they're done correctly, especially if you pair them up with something such as the entertainment aspect. Like if we look at Doritos, granted, they have a super, super large budget, but they're notorious for creating these super exciting, interesting, comedic Super Bowl commercials, which usually have nothing to do with the fact that they are a chip brand, but it exudes that feeling that when you eat this, like you'll feel these types of ways and you'll feel like your life is chaotic in a way. It's very similar to the way that Old Spice will advertise their products. It's just combining these different things and these crazy ideas to maintain the attention of the viewer is exactly what advertising is about. And a lot of times, if you're not a serious brand, you can get away with doing some crazier, funnier, more comedic style things. But there's a type of content for everybody. Like if we look back at the luxury brands, they're more likely to tell you about their product and what makes it stand out and what makes it special. Like Rolex might run an ad that's like handcrafted in this part of the world using only the best materials, made in small batch, whatever it may be. And then it makes you feel almost like you're in on this secret club. Like you're getting what nobody else has. And that's also a super popular technique for advertising. So the best type of advertising, whether it's content creation, print ads, TV ads, whatever, it's usually somewhat indirect. Like the content that you see is not usually or 100% aligned with what service or good you're getting. So it makes people kind of feel like the idea is their own, which is exactly what you want in sales. Where, you might see a funny video on the internet from like a car dealership, and you're like, man, that was funny. Maybe I should go there and see if those people are really like that or whatever. And you basically think that you've implanted this idea in your own head that because they were funny or whatever company did this kind of content this certain way, that now you need to go or want to go purchase their good or service. However, when it comes to creating content for businesses, I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I've created a lot of different content for a lot of different types of businesses. Some of it was informative, some of it was entertaining, and there's really no right or wrong way to go about it. I think it really comes down to what is necessary for your business or your personal brand. But what I have noticed is that certain content does perform differently to certain audiences. When it comes to informative content, the people who watch that content have to be kind of seeking out the information. So that kind of puts people in more of a niche depending on what they're informing their audiences about. Whereas the exciting content, the entertainment style content, is able to reach a broader audience because it's not necessarily aimed at a specific demographic, we'll say. So, you see these people doing these exciting, entertaining things, and it just hits the mark a little bit better on a wider array of people. That's not to say that that's the type of content that you create. That's just my personal experience and what I've noticed. I've also noticed that different types of media performs differently, like photo slash graphic design content that's static doesn't necessarily perform as well as videos on social media might, because the algorithms that these social media platforms use, they push that type of content harder. It's easier for people to see that type of content. So there's really nothing else I can say without being super redundant. But if you see this video and you found it somewhat helpful, and kind of gives you some more direction as to the type of content that you might need to create, then I feel like I did my job. If you have any questions about what type of content might be best for your business, leave me a comment and we can talk about it. Otherwise, I'll probably make a part 2 to this video that follows how you can kind of improve the content that you're making. Because as we see in a lot of different scenarios, usually businesses will have just somebody from their team creating their content. And that's not necessarily a bad way to go about it, but that content might perform differently from how somebody like I would create their content with experience in the field and working with a team that has marketing experience and knows how to create professional content that will actually get results. And it's really hard to say what will do better or what will do worse, because sometimes a simple iPhone video is the video that blows up. Sometimes it is the professional curated content by a company such as mine or the companies that I've worked with. So it's really just about hitting the mark. And not everybody's going to be perfect. I've never worked with a team or with somebody who has a 100% success rate. When it comes to creating content, you just got to do what's best for you. You got to stay consistent with it, and eventually it'll pay off. And if eventually it doesn't, maybe try switching things up. Try branching into different areas and different categories of content creation and see if something works better for your business. But other than that, I think that's basically going to wrap this up. So like I said, if you have questions about the type of content that your business should create, or if you have questions about how to go about creating content, I'd be happy to talk with you in the comments about that. If you found anything else from this video helpful, leave me a like, comment, subscribe, do the whole 9. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video, and I will see you on the next one.